Our next speaker is Mr. Asif Shahzad. He is a medical physics graduate from PIAS, session 2001 to 2003. Currently, he is working as Chief Scientific Officer in Directorate of Radiation Safety at PNRA, with having more than 20 years experience in the radiation protection and safety. He is also a member of IEA Radiation Safety Standard Committee, and today he is going to deliver, or he will be highlighting the regulatory requirement of the PET cyclotron facility. I guess a very relevant topic.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Shahzad, President of Pakistan Society of Nuclear Medicine, for providing me this opportunity to present here the regulatory requirements for PET and cyclotron facilities. Here is the outline of my presentation, and this I will describe brief introduction of PNRA and then regulatory functions of PNRA, legislative and regulatory framework, PET and cyclotron facility, and regulatory requirements for this facility, and the regulatory requirements established in Regulations Park 908, and then the conclusion. Ionizing radiation is a type of energy released by atoms in the form of electromagnetic waves and particles. People are exposed to natural sources of ionizing radiation as well as in human-made sources. Ionizing radiation has many beneficial applications, including uses in medicine, industry, agriculture, and research. As the use of ionizing radiation increases, so does the potential for health hazards if not properly used. The government is responsible to ensure that radiation sources are used beneficially, safely, and ethically. So the government of Pakistan has established PNRA, Pakistan Nuclear Regulatory Authority, under PNRA Ordinance 2001. PNRA is an independent regulatory authority to regulate the nuclear safety and radiation protection in the country and extent of civil liability for nuclear damage and resulting from a nuclear incident. The mission of PNRA is to ensure that safe operation of nuclear facilities and protect the radiation workers, the general public, and the environment from the harmful effects of ionizing radiation by formulating and implementing effective regulations and building a relation of trust with the licensees and maintaining transparency in actions and decisions taken by the regulatory body. So for the activities, performing the activities of PNRA has established regional nuclear safety directorates and inspectorate across the country. So PNRA has its headquarters in Islamabad, where the main directorates, technical directorates and administrative directorates are within the headquarters, and we have three regional directorates. One is in Islamabad, and one is Chashma, and one is in Karachi. Along with these directorates, we have 6 regional inspectorates. One is in Peshawar, the other is Gilgit-Baltistan, and one is located in Muzaffarabad, Multan, and Quetta, and one inspectorate is under construction. Hopefully it will be functional in start of next year. So from these directorates and inspectorates, we are performing all the authorization and licensing and inspection enforcement activities to regulate the safe use of radiation, ionizing radiation. Here are the functions of PNRA to regulate the safe use of ionizing radiation. One of the main function is the development of a regulatory framework. So PNRA is establishing regulations and guidelines, orders and policies for the effective control of use of radioactive material and use of ionizing radiation. The second function, main function, is review and assessment of with respect to licensing and radiation protection and safety of the radiation facilities and activities. Third one is the authorization and licensing of radiation facilities and activities. Along with authorization and licensing, we have another function of inspection enforcement. So these are the main. We have other functions of regulatory body, but these are the main functions we are performing for the safe use of ionizing radiation. Here is the legislative and regulatory framework. So it consists of 3 levels of documents. The first one is the ordinance under which PNRA has been established, which is issued by the government of Pakistan. And PNRA have issued other types of documents, which includes regulations and regulatory guides. Regulations are issued by PNRA, and these are mandatory. And regulatory guides are also issued by PNRA, but their nature is non-mandatory. Regulations establish the requirements for the safe use of radioactive material and use of ionizing radiation. And regulatory guides explains how, for the licensee, how to compliance the regulatory requirements. So, what is type of PET and cyclotron facility? So, according to our regulatory framework, PET cyclotron facility is a combination of 2 types of facilities where radioisotopes are produced and used. So, one type of facility is the nuclear medicine facility. PET scanner and use of radioisotopes for imaging is part of nuclear medicine facility. The second type is the radioisotope production facility. Cyclotron and production of radioisotopes is part of radioisotope production facility. So PET and cyclotron facility is a combination of 2 types of facilities. So 2 types of licenses are required for the operation of a PET and cyclotron facility. So PNRA has established a regulatory framework for the effective regulatory control of the radioactive sources within the country, and it also issued guidelines for the guidance of the licensee, so they can use these guides for their guidance how to compliance the regulatory requirements. So here are some the regulations which are relevant to the PET and cyclotron facility. The first one is the regulation for licensing of radiation facilities other than installations. So this is the main regulation. which is for the authorization and licensing of PET and cyclotron facility. The other applicable regulations includes regulations for protection on radiation, regulations on radiation protection, regulations on management of a nuclear or radiological emergency, regulations on radioactive waste management, regulations for the safe transport of radioactive material, regulations on security of radioactive sources, regulations on decommissioning of facilities using radioactive material, regulations on leadership and management for safety, and regulations, Pakistan Nuclear Regulatory Authority enforcement regulations, and regulations on licensing fee by Pakistan Nuclear Regulatory Authority. So here are the relevant regulatory requirements to a PET and cyclotron facility. So licensee can go through these guidelines before performing the activities of operation and waste management and decommissioning and physical and quality control of the facility. So one is the regulatory guide on preparation of license and authorization applications for radiation facilities and activities. This is the main guide which address the explain the licensing and authorization requirements. So applicant should go through this guide before applying for licensing and authorization from PNRA. The other one is the format and content of safety analysis report for radiation facilities, format and content of radiation protection program, format and content of radioactive waste management program for nuclear medicine medical centers, preparation of radiation emergency plan for radiation facilities and activities, format and content of decommissioning plan for radiation facilities, format and content of physical protection for radiation facilities having radioactive sources, and one guide is on format and content of quality assurance program. We hope we will develop a new guide for the guidance of licensee in the field of quality assurance program, and it is our work plan for the next year. So, as I mentioned earlier, that regulations PAG 908, the main licensing regulation. So, all types of licensing and authorization with respect to radiation facilities and activities are covered in this regulation, and only the activities which are exempted under regulations on radiation protection PAG 904 are not part of these are not addressed in this regulation. So here is the licensing process. So first step in the licensing process is the notification to the regulatory body by the applicant. It is very important from a licensing point of view that as any person who intends to establish a radiation facility or perform any activity with respect with the use of radioactive sources, he is required to notify the authority. So if he notifies the authority timely, so the licensing process may be initiated as early as possible. Submission, and the next step is submission of application for registration and acquisition of license along with required documents and licensing fee. After the review and assessment of the licensing submissions, the acquisition the premises of the facilities are registered with PNRA, and acquisition license is issued to the applicant for the acquisition of radioactive source or radiation generator for his facility. After this, inspection on completion of installation and commissioning of the facility. Inspections and investigations are conducted by PNRA, and the whole documents are reviewed and queries are generated by PNRA. If you have some deficiencies in documents, these are communicated to the license applicant. After the resolution of these queries and approval of documents, authority issued an operating license to the applicant. So the acquisition license is not for the operation of facilities. So under this license, you can only acquire and possess the radioactive source, but do not operate the radiation facility. So the licensing and documents which are required along with the application for nuclear medicine cardiology center, an applicant will submit safety analysis report, a radiation protection program, radioactive waste management program, radiation emergency plan, quality assurance program, and initial decommissioning of facility. And for manufacturing or radioisotope production of radioisotopes and radioactive material, one document will be added in, as mentioned, the other 5 documents. That is the physical protection plan for the facility. So after expiry of the license is issued on annual basis. On the expiry of the license, the applicant is required to apply for the license renewal along with the required documents and renewal fee. These documents are reviewed by the authority, and on its satisfaction, a license is renewed for the facility. So here are the documents which are required at the time of renewal of the license. So at the time of renewal, the licensee will submit the updated list and occupational data of workers, updated information and documents as per Schedule 1, and updated inventory of radiation sources, and any other information and record as required by the authority. So sometimes the other activities are also performed by the licensee which are not covered under the license. So he should apply for the specific authorization before performing these activities. So these activities include any changes in the approved licensing documents, modification in the specification of radiation sources, shielding design, facility layout, safety and or security functions, import, export of radiation sources including used or refurbished radiation generators and devices containing radioactive material, local purchase of radiation sources including used or refurbished radiation generators and devices containing radioactive material, transfer or sale of radiation source to any other person unless the transferor possesses a valid license and both the transferor and transferee have obtained authorization from the authority. Transfer of radioactive material to a designated radioactive waste management facility, decommissioning of radiation facility, clearance of radioactive material or radioactive objects, health screening and biomedical research involving radiation exposure to humans, and any other activity as may be determined by the authority. So here is the process for obtaining the specific authorization. So some authorization require the authorization fee and some are free of cost. So applicant will submit the licensing fee, authorization fee and the relevant documents, and review. After the review and assessment of the submissions by the authorities, a specific authorization is issued to the applicant. So now come to the conclusion. PNRA is controlling, regulating and supervising all matters related to nuclear safety and radiation protection measures in Pakistan. PNRA has established regulatory framework for effective control over the use of ionizing radiation. PNRA is striving hard for achieving the ultimate goal of protecting the workers, the public, and the environment from harmful effects of ionizing radiation. Thank you very much.